So the Chiefs are getting some very unexpected help right now at a much-needed time because the AFC playoff picture is in such a weird spot. In fact, a win against the Texans this Sunday has the Chiefs still very much alive in the playoff race, and in today's video, I'll break down the state of the playoffs and where the Chiefs are at, talk about some injury updates and takeaways from Andy Reid's presser, along with some surprising findings about how much the offense has really been carrying the defense. But first, how about those? All right, so after a weekend of no Chiefs football, the NFL as a whole is in a pretty weird place, specifically the AFC playoff picture. I'll get to that in a bit because there is still some optimism, at least to me, that the Chiefs can make the playoffs, although I'm trying to be realistic about it. They basically need to win the last 5 games in a row, and they will most likely make it if they can pull that off. However, I still have my questions and concerns considering that through 12 games so far this season, the Chiefs have literally only won half of them. Andy was asked today during his media presser about why he thinks that despite having a top offense in most metrics, like top 5 in most metrics, and the 6th best point differential in the NFL, why is the team only 500 on the year? Well, a little side note before I get to his answer. The point differential aspect is pretty fascinating because of all teams in the top 11, KC is 6th, and the only team with less than 7 wins, and the only other team with less than 8 wins is the Detroit Lions. The average wins amongst these 11 teams is actually 8.3. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are on the bottom end of that. So why? Well, Andy Reid's answer was, sure, we have stats, but you need points. You need to take care of business in the red zone and get the points needed to win in these close games. And he mentioned the red zone because this is pretty interesting. On the year, they're top 10, right? But Warren Sharp shared this tweet. The Chiefs are 1-3 in their last 4 games. Over that span, though, they've taken 40% of possessions into the red zone. That's good. You're at 4th best. 20% of possessions into goal to go. That's 7th best. But they've scored touchdowns on just 44% of red zone trips. That's 25th. And then 50% of goal to go trips. That's 23rd. So you've got to get points, 7 in particular, when you're down inside the 20 and especially inside the 10. Andy then mentioned executing on all 3 phases of the ball. And that's probably the most frustrating aspect about this team. I'll talk more about that later, but you need to be consistent on offense, defense, and special teams because when one is doing well, it seems like the other 2 are struggling, especially in these key situations late in the game. All in all, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Andy Reid shared that they are putting themselves in the right position to get wins, and I do agree. If you're in a 1-score game down to the wire, you're putting yourself in a position to try and get that W, but it's a few plays in each of these that they need to execute at a higher level in order to come out on the right side of that. That could be making the play in general, like the late drop by Rice on 3rd and 8, or when they do actually make the play, not having a penalty negate the positive. Penalties can then take you out of your run opportunities, and sometimes, Andy said this again, you are using up good plays that succeed, but then you're backed up, and that play for the time being is unusable again. Shoot, even the example of Xavier Worthy not attacking the ball on that deep pass down the left side and trying harder to come down with the catch before halftime on a free play, i.e. a penalty in favor of the Chiefs, is another example of not making the most of your opportunities, even when a penalty goes in your favor. On the year, the Chiefs are actually tied for the 10th most penalties of any team and are averaging 8.5 a game. 9 on the road, bad, but just over 5 while at home, much better. Anyway, Andy then specified a bit more in his answer, saying the holding calls have to be limited on offense. On defense, when it's time to get off the field, you gotta get a stop on 3rd down. And yeah, the Chiefs defense is currently 7th worst in the league on allowing 3rd down conversions, which has been quite the Achilles heel for the team this season. On top of that, Big Red said they need to get the turnovers that go through your hands or jump on the fumble that falls out. Like in the Cowboys game, for example. Yes, they had the pick early, which was great, but there were 3 other opportunities. The defense could have had a pick or a fumble, and were not able to make it happen. 2 of those were on back-to-back plays near the end of the game. Had Mike Edwards got that pick on Dak or Drew Tranquill recovered the Pickens fumble that McDuffie punched out, that would have wiped a field goal off the board for the Cowboys, and instead of a 10-point game, it's still within 7. And he continued, it's a few plays here or there. That's all it is. Penalties are killers. You want to create turnovers on defense and capitalize on opportunities when they present themselves. 3rd downs are crucial on both sides. Improving the pass rush on defense plays a role as well. You can't allow quarterbacks to just sit back there in a clean pocket with comfortable feet and just throw the ball without pressure. Got to get pressure, and when you can't, the coverage has to hold up. And yeah, the defense is bottom 7 in the league with 75 pressures and have the 6th fewest sacks in the league with 22. The lack of a consistent pass rush has played a massive role in quarterbacks being able to comfortably go through their reads on third down, or even when they do bring pressure, Spags still blitzes at the 6th highest rate in the league. They are way less effective, and that has resulted in the offense watching from the sidelines late in the game down by 1 score and never seeing the field again. That is half of their losses so far on the season. With all that being said, though, Andy still believes they can pinpoint these things, work on them, fix them, and make a run to still get into the playoffs. In fact, all the guys, players, and coaches believe that. Quote, "We're going to go after you every game. That's how we roll. We're going to try to tickle your tonsils on every play, every game." Yeah, he actually said that. I could not believe what I was hearing, but he said, "We're going to try to tickle your tonsils on every play, every game." That's the attitude they're coming in with every single week. But at the same time, Andy continued, they got to make sure that they take care of the small things and clean some things up. There's not a game they go into where he doesn't think they'll get after their opponents and give it their all to get the W. And while everything he says is true, it's still frustrating because the offense is for sure better this year than last, and the defense is only slightly worse. Yet they are just 1-6 in these one-score games and have barely been able to put things together on offense, defense, and special teams at a consistent enough level against good teams to win. And coming up next, I'll break down more of what I think is going on, look at some of the injuries for the Chiefs as they prepare to take on the Texans, as well as some hope for KC in this current playoff picture. But first, some of you may not know that I lost almost 50 pounds back in 2020, really just to get healthy for my family, and I just did this by eating clean and upping my protein intake. Well, it's hard finding supplements out there without the artificial junk and fillers, which is why I was excited to team up once again with Transparent Labs as the sponsor of today's video, because their grass-fed whey protein isolate has made it easy for me to hit my protein goals in a clean and healthy way. It only contains a handful of high-quality natural ingredients and no artificial sweeteners, dyes, or fillers. None of the weird stuff, actually. Plus, each serving delivers 28 grams of protein sourced exclusively from grass-fed cows, which gives you higher quality and more nutritious protein. It helps that it tastes absolutely delicious. It's not chalky, doesn't taste artificial, and the fact that they have 18 delicious natural flavors helps me to switch things up from time to time. Though, honestly, I love the chocolate peanut butter flavor so much that I went ahead and got another for when I run out. One sec. So good. You see, using pure isolate from Transparent Labs instead of cheap concentrates or blends makes it easier for you to actually digest and absorb the protein. They also have this all third-party tested and informed choice certified for accuracy and safety, so you know exactly what you're putting in your body. And if you'd like to try Transparent Labs grass-fed protein for yourself, they are doing a Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale right now where they're offering 25% off site-wide. Plus, on orders of $149 or more, they're giving out a free bundle that includes a backpack, a water bottle, and some samples for you to try out. This is their biggest sale of the year, and it's only going on from November 27th to December 3rd, so don't miss out. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code up on screen to secure the offer, and shout out again to Transparent Labs for sponsoring today's video, and with that, let's get back to it. All right, so here's some context on how good the Chiefs offense is playing this year, which in turn is actually helping a struggling defense in one key stat that most people love to share all the time, and that is points per game. Through 12 games this season, the Chiefs offense is first in total EPA, tied for first with the Colts in EPA per play, third in success percentage or success rate, third in EPA per pass, fourth in EPA per rush, and sixth in passing touchdowns. For comparison's sake, the offense was closer to 10th to 12th in most of these metrics last year, so the offense is much more efficient in 2025, and it's not even close. They are also top 10 on third down and the best in the league on fourth down. That helps them sustain drives, and when you combine that with the fact that KC's offense is top 5 in plays per drive, average time of possession, and points per drive, this massively helps out the defense and also explains why when KC's offense does turn the ball over, even though it's not often, it hurts them more than other teams. The offense is more explosive than last year, but still depend for the most part on long, successful drives in order to get points. Meanwhile, the defense struggles to get stops on third down, giving opponents longer drives and more opportunities themselves, and then they rarely get any takeaways. And here's some of the disappointing reality of the situation with the Chiefs defense. They are 20th in EPA per play, 20th in total EPA, 20th in success percentage or success rate, 17th in EPA per pass, and 22nd in EPA per rush. That combined with the defense being 7th worst in the league on allowing third downs to be converted, being tied for 4th worst in takeaways and bottom 7 in pressures or sacks. It's no wonder the team has been struggling, and that's why when people say, but Cole, the Chiefs defense is the 7th best scoring defense in the NFL, it doesn't really do a good job of painting the picture of what is actually going on. A lot of that is the offense keeping the ball for long periods of time when they have these long, successful drives. All in all, if I had to pick just one issue, just boil it all down, I'm not even going to say coaching, just one issue on the team, any phase of the football, offense, defense, or special teams, I'm going to point to the pass rush or extreme lack thereof. Minihue and Dana have regressed, as has Chris Jones, but not nearly to the extent of what some think. He's just no longer at the top of Everest, on his way down, has his worst supporting cast in years, and it also doesn't help that George Karlaftis has been battling through that thumb injury. He's got like a big old club-looking thing on his hand right now, so that's not helping. Then, the absence of Turk Wharton is absolutely felt along the interior. Their second-round pick, Omar Norman-Lott, was supposed to hopefully be a productive guy next to Chris Jones, but he's on injured reserve for the year, and Jerry Tillery isn't doing all that much either. The thing is, you are stuck with what you have, and you just got to deal with it. And at this point, some of you are probably like, okay, Cole, cool. The offense is pretty good. The defense has taken a step back, so what is actually going on? Well, it's also the fact that special teams has been awful at times this season, especially in the return game. Lack of explosive returns, and if they do get one, a penalty negates it, or they're often getting flagged for holding, a legal block in the back, just something dumb on a return, and it's actually helping the opposing team even more with their starting field position. It really boils down to a lack of consistency and firing on all cylinders in key moments. The offense, for example, on Thanksgiving, they put up 28 points. So Patrick Mahomes had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and as a whole, they had no turnovers, but they also went dormant for an entire 2 quarters. So there were times when the defense made plays, but the offense did nothing with those opportunities. Then they once again had 10 or more penalties in a game on the road this season, losing all 4 games in which they've had 10 or more flags. Andy said he doesn't agree with every penalty that was called, but that's nothing new. You're never going to agree on everything. You just try to express yourself to the refs and you move on. Ultimately, there's nothing you can do. Griping about a call in excess doesn't get anything changed, and that's why the focus is really on what they can control. Don't shoot yourself in the foot with the penalties. Execute at a higher level on offense and defense. I'm adding this part myself. Keep Chamari Connor out of the slot, for the love of God. Don't put him on one-on-one with somebody like CeeDee Lamb, and find a way to get out of there with the W. The season is essentially on the line this Sunday. We all know that, against the Houston Texans. And if the Chiefs want to keep their hope alive, it's simple. You have to win this game. This is a must win game. I've been saying that all season long, but this is really all or nothing. We went from having a chill December, wondering if KC was going to be able to rest their starters by Christmas, to wondering if the Chiefs will even still be in the playoff picture at all by Christmas this year. If you look at the playoff picture, KC is currently 10th in the AFC side of the playoff picture, tied record-wise with the Steelers, but Pittsburgh has a higher conference win percentage, so they're one over them right now. I don't think the Steelers are going to last, because if you beat Houston on Sunday, both teams are going to be 7-6, but KC will have the tiebreaker over Houston, so that's good. So you can pass them up with a win, and why I'm saying the Steelers will be irrelevant here soon is because they've lost 5 of their last 7, and are probably cooked at this point. The Bills are 8-4, but still have the Patriots and Eagles on their schedule. I'm not sure if the Chiefs can pass them up since Buffalo has the tiebreaker, but the Colts, they've lost 3 of their last 4, and one of those L's was dealt by KC, so passing them up is a real possibility, and that's why I hope the Jags can win their division. The AFC South has them in first right now, tied with the same record as Indy, so my hope is they somehow keep winning, and then the Colts keep losing, and then the Chargers are also in a weird spot as well. They are down their 2 starting tackles, and while they are 8-4, the Chiefs play them in 2 weeks, so you beat the Texans, then take care of the Chargers in Arrowhead, and KC will be 8-6. Meanwhile, LAC has a brutal schedule remaining. Look at the last 5 here. Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos. Those are their last 5, 0 gimmies in there. Plus, even though the Chargers beat the Raiders on Sunday, Justin Herbert fractured something in his non-throwing hand, so his left hand, and he needed to have a procedure done to it today. He's going to try to play Monday Night Football, from what I understand, against the Eagles, but the injuries are stacking up, and their schedule is very difficult. That's why this upcoming game against the Texans, it's not going to be easy, but if you get a win, your playoff hopes are very much still alive. The D-line of that Texans defense is going to be an absolute problem. They have 2 players that are top 5 in pass rush win percentage. On top of that, the Chiefs are not going to have Josh Simmons, their left tackle, and they may not have Jawan Taylor or Trey Smith. Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated, per sources, made it seem like Josh Simmons is, he said he's out long-term, but that to me means he's soon going to be placed on IR. And then Jawan Taylor does have a chance of being able to play through his triceps injury, depending on how he feels throughout the week. And for some clarity here, Josh Simmons is getting a second opinion on his wrist right now, so we'll see what ends up happening, but either way, he's going to be out for Sunday's game. Obviously, it helps that you're coming off of a mini bye, but we'll see how the injury report this week looks. I just don't love the idea of Jalen Moore at left tackle and Wanye Morris at right tackle going up against Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. That's not even to mention their very talented secondary headlined by Derek Stingley Jr. They also have Kamari Lassiter and some other dogs back there. Really, CJ Stroud is also back after missing 3 games with a concussion. And while he did look rusty out there in their recent win, he's still a better quarterback than Davis Mills, and it's only going to help. The Chiefs are currently 3.5-point favorites, and my only hope is they've been so much better at home than on the road this season. They are bottom 5 in flags in home games, so among the 5 fewest, and 5 of their 6 wins have taken place at Arrowhead Stadium. Well, my hope, for all our sakes, sanity, whatever word you want to throw in there, is that the Chiefs do find a way to keep their playoff hopes alive on Sunday night. Playoff hopes are currently around 35% for the Chiefs. It's going to shoot up with a win here, and you just keep stacking W's, and your chances do go up, and I think they still control their own destiny. It's just a definite change from the norm here, especially in the Patrick Mahomes era. But hey, let me know your thoughts on how you are feeling about the team so far this year. Where do you put most of the blame on these losses if you had to pin it down to maybe your biggest problem? And then what is your confidence level that the Chiefs can beat the Texans on Sunday? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?